morning, good evening. Welcome to this week's Fiberific live craft and chat where we craft and chat live. I've just realized my camera is so wonky. What's going on here? I don't even know. I can't even tell you. Oh, goodness. That's terrible. Let's try again. Something's happened. I don't even know what's happened. Okay, Google, turn on video lights. That'll have to do. Sorry, it's close enough, right? Thanks, Googs. So I was running a little bit late this morning, and then as I was setting up, the webcam wouldn't work properly, and I had to reinstall the stupid software yet again, which took all my pre-stream setup time. Anyway, hello, welcome to this week's live crafter chat, where we're going to talk about making. Sorry, those that are on the Google system. I may have set all of yours off, and now they're all trying to turn lights on that don't exist. Sorry, but yeah. So I want to talk about making clothes. Last week we were having a discussion about that, and I was thinking about, like, this week I was like, oh, when I finish the skirt, what am I going to make next? And it really made me sort of sit down and think that it's not just finding a pattern that we like, right? And that's a big thing. Let's find the pattern that we like. So once you've got that narrowed down, then it's, what are you going to make it out of? Because every person is different, right? Every person, whether they can handle different grades of wool, whether they're allergic to something, whether they like cotton, whether they like, all of these sorts of things, trying to work out what to make something out of. Because I quite often see garments that I like, with the coverage that I personally prefer, but then it's usually made out of something like a worsted weight acrylic or something like that. And I can't wear a garment, like a full garment, especially upper body, made out of acrylic. I don't even cope in polyester, like a thin polyester top. I still don't cope. Two reasons. One, my body type. I overheat or freeze very quickly, so I need the fabric to actually help. And then two, where I live, the climate that I'm in, we have winter here. And our winter is kind of a little bit of a meh winter. Like, it's cold for me, but our cold winter days are nearly the equivalent of a heat wave in the UK. So, our perspective is different. So I still want a long sleeve top, but I don't want it, long sleeves and a higher neck. And I don't want it to be all holey. We've still got wind that's cold, and if you're in the shade, it's cold, and things like that. And by cold, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Abby's gone 18 degrees, and she's right, like 18 degrees Celsius. Like that's about as cold as we don't get snow. But you have to go hunting in the depths of winter. There's like one location that will get snow in my state. And I don't live near it, it's a trip. Abby says it's thick morning frost. So, we don't get that here. Like, yes, there's other parts of Australia that do get, legit winter. We don't get it here. So thinking about what you're going to make the garment out of, will that alternative yarn work with the pattern that you've chosen? Because you can't just go all 4 plies are the same or all worsted weights are the same. They're really not. You need to be looking at the construction of the yarn and will that do the job? Do you know what I mean? So having a think about all of that stuff plays such a huge part in. I have to go through all of this before I buy a pattern, because I don't want to buy a pattern and then realize, okay, I am never going to deal with, I'm never going to be able to wear something that's made with, really thick, heavy duty wool. I'm thinking of like the big, thick, knitted Fair Isle sweaters out of like Sweden, right? Like I will melt. will melt if I end up in one of those. So I have to look at alternatives and how I would make it. Sometimes even making those sorts of things, but then making them a size smaller but with much bigger stitches so some airflow can get through if it works. Not always, it doesn't always work, but you can think of some of these things sometimes. Now, I was running late. I haven't had a chance to look in the chat yet, so let's run back to the start. We've got Little Crafty Nook jumping in. Hello, how you going? Great to see you in here. Kelly's in here as well. Now, one thing I want to say, I'm just checking in here. Has anyone, we haven't seen Leanne in the chat yet? Is Leanne in the chat? There's a special reason we need to, like, if Leanne comes in. If anybody sees Leanne in the chat, it is Leanne's birthday today. So Leanne, our moderator, or one of our moderators, you need to, like, the second she comes in, everyone needs to, like, throw birthday cakes or whatever it is at her. I don't know if she's going to join us today because it's a birthday and she might be out doing family things. But if Leanne jumps in, it's Leanne's birthday. Oh, and happy birthday, Leanne. If you're watching on the replay, happy birthday. So we've got Nitsbin Girls is here as well. Isabel Crafts, it's great to see you. Bianca, you can chat amongst yourselves. Excellent. Glad to hear it. Teresa, so good to see you. Thanks for jumping in. Josephine, oh my God, it's Thursday and I'm at home. What a change. Now, it is Thursday and it is the third Thursday of the month, so it is Caffeinated Crafters Day. So tonight we are meeting up somewhere a little bit different. We usually meet up at IKEA. We're going to be meeting up at Cafe 63 at Beenleigh. So in Beenleigh Marketplace, there's a Cafe 63. We'll be there from about 6 o'clock. So if you want to join in, please do so. We're going to see if we like it there on a Thursday night. We haven't tried it on a Thursday night. Also, this Saturday is the third Saturday of the month, and that means productivity stream. So if you want to come and hang out, we listen to some tunes and we just craft quietly. I talk a whole lot less. So if you want a live stream with more music, less talking, come to that one where we help each other get through projects and get our jobs done. Lots of people, I'm like up to where I set off everybody's Googles. The skirt is not finished as yet. I'll show you where I'm up to in a second. Abby would definitely know, having lived at the snow last year. Yeah, I have to trust Abby's knowledge of winter because she has lived in the snow. Ponchos, ponchos, look, I get the appeal. I wouldn't wear one. They definitely do not suit my body shape. They're not flattering in any shape, fashion or form for my body type. Linda W from Melbourne, great to see you. Thank you for joining. Is it your first live stream here? I hope that if it is, that you like hanging out with us. Talia, my immediate thought was, do we hide? Wait, that won't work. No, it won't work. Is that for Leanne's birthday messages? No, I don't think it'd work. Vampire is here as well. Vampire, it's so good to see. Now, for those of you that are new or, haven't caught one of these live streams before, in the description is a link to my Ravelry queue. So any of the projects that I'm currently working on, they're all there. I do try to keep them fairly up to date. Human. So not always totally up to date. I do try. All right. Before I jump into crocheting, because my hands are itching, I just want to show you where I'm up to with my skirt, which is here. It's definitely more skirt length, less belt length now. And I was a little worried about, there's some, at the points, it kind of dimples in. And I was like, there we go, that one's doing it a lot. See how that dimples in at the point? Like right there, it dimples right in. I was really worried about that, but I've realized, like, once I give this fabric a good wash, this particular yarn, I've used it before, not this colorway, but this yarn for a blanket, and it really relaxes once it's washed. So I think most of that's going to wash out. I'm really hoping it is, or I'm going to be blocking the crap out of this, because that's something I don't like. I don't like the little peaks and dimples that we've got going on. But I was doing some jiggery pokery, and it was all moving around. So I'm really happy with how this is going. Because I was thinking I was going to have to A-line it, because of the shape of the skirt, but because I was able to reduce the waist down a little bit, I don't think I'll need to. It's skimmed over my hips, which is the big spot I need the A-lines for. And now it's sort of doing what it needs to do everywhere else. So I don't think I need to make any more adjustments to the pattern. But I'm gonna like get us into the mode. Oh, I was gonna say, oh my God, did I forget the hook? But no, there it is. Oh, I'll just push that out of the way. Oh, also beverages today. Madura tea, Earl Grey. We have a long black espresso coffee with some milk and water. Oh yeah, ponchos would be, well, I mean, I think ponchos are really good middle ground. Where am I up to here? For most people, but it depends on your body shape and the kind of clothes that you wear. I'm just not into ponchos. I think part of it is also my mum had me in ponchos a lot as a kid. So I've got that image in my head, and I know that there's some beautiful ponchos out there. Jenny King has designed a couple of gorgeous ponchos I've made before. And they were fun to make, and that one of them was like a really nice asymmetrical lined one, and it was made out of this really fun yarn that was wasn't like thick wool or anything like that. It was actually like a layering piece, not so much like a for warmth kind of piece, which I really, really liked. So I think that it depends like on what it's like everything, what it's made out of, what its purpose is, because there's crochet and knitting that its purpose is warmth, right? Like blankets and things like that, their purpose is warmth. But sometimes we don't want the warmth. We just want, like, we want a look. We want like something else from it. We need it to be a layering piece. Now I brought in my my ranunculus t-shirt that I made. I know a lot of you have seen it, but not everybody has. So I used the ranunculus pattern and made myself a t-shirt. And because I am in Queensland, in Australia, and it is subtropical here, I did not want it to be thick, heavy, or made of wool. I did not want that. It's too much. I would never get to wear it. I've made myself the most adorable sweater from Adidas Designs. I absolutely love it. I cannot wear it. It is thick and warm and soft, and it's like being in a big hug that within seconds turns into a sauna. It is too warm for me. Even in Bendigo, I couldn't wear it. It was just too warm. What did I do with that? I brought it in. Here we go. So I made a t-shirt, right? So I've made it out of cotton. It's a 4-ply cotton. I love this shirt. It's so soft and light and airy, and the stitches are loose, so the air can come through it. And because it's pure cotton, it washes no problems. I can wear it no problems. I don't sweat in it. I don't, just have to, you know what I mean? Like I think I made the right choices on this one. So it was just a really lovely quality. It's such a soft cotton, because like I know a lot of people think cotton and they instantly go to like Lion Brand kitchen cotton or something like that. That's like thinking there's only Red Heart acrylic. There's so many grades and so many options that open the world up, right? So have a look around for some other options for cotton. Hobie is a great option for inexpensive cotton for garments. Bendigo Woolen Mills cotton, you could use it for a garment, but it's quite thick and heavy, and it's got a pretty high twist in it. So I personally don't like it for garments. I love it for blankets. It's perfect for blankets. But yeah, you just have to really think about what it is that you're making and why. So some of the other cotton options that I've found, so we'll put that off to the side, is this Fibra Natura cotton. It's another really nice soft one. It's got a bit of extra twist to it, but it's not as much twist as the Bendigo cotton, and it's still really, really nice yarn. So that one's a really nice. I'm really looking forward to making something out of this. This is such a pretty color, and it's just, you know, I happen to buy the whole box, like, because it comes in boxes of 10, so it does look all fancy, but usually you just buy a couple of balls and you don't get a box. But yeah, so you've got options when it comes to cottons. Like, then there's also, oh, where we go. Then there's like the next level cottons, which are these guys, which is the IKEA Deluxe Organic Cottons. These are so soft. These just feel just divine next to your skin. Now they're much finer, and they do again have the higher twist, but they're made with a higher grade cotton. So, you know, it is just gorgeous. So, you know, you can look around, and if you're making a garment for yourself, and this is where I think most of the time the wheels come off, right? I just want to put that somewhere. Like, and this is where the wheels come off for most people, is the price, right? Like, acrylic is inexpensive. Well, some acrylic is inexpensive. And sometimes, well, we're very blue today in this camera. I wonder if I need to fix that. But, you know, sometimes we have to sort of be budget conscious, or, you know, some of these things, like, yes, I've absolutely got some yarn that I bought that is absolutely divine. That is a silk yarn. That's a soft silk yarn to make a top with. That was not a budget buy. I'm straight up be honest. It was expensive, and I cannot wait till I find the perfect pattern for it, because I cannot wait to use it. So it's just one of these things where we just absolutely sometimes need to think about the budget, and there are budget options out there. There's always the option to keep an eye out for sales, which I highly recommend you do. If you know a company has a sale at a particular time of the year, you can get yourself ready for that. You can get up late. You can, you know, be right at their website the second the sale goes live, so you don't miss out on the things that you want to get. You know, there's ways to get the higher quality at a lesser price, but also, depending on what you're doing, there are some lesser price cottons and other blends of yarn aside from acrylic that are less expensive. So, you know, you've got options out there, but when it comes to a garment, right? Like, when I'm thinking toys and blankets and stuff, acrylic all the way, I don't even give it a second thought, right? I will still make cotton blankets. I love cotton blankets. I've made a couple of wool blankets, which, again, I love them. But I don't even give it a second thought when it comes to acrylic for blankets. But I really do give it a second and a third thought before I decide what yarn I'm going to use for a project, if it's for me to wear. Because it's going to need to be able to be laundered regularly. Otherwise, I'm not going to wear it. If I have to give it any extra special treatment, probably not going to wear it. So therefore, wasted effort. And you got to think about it. It's going to take a long time to make this thing. So whatever it is that you make, whatever wearable you decide, you need to want to wear it, right? You need to be basically in love with the pattern to get through making it all. Aside from buying all the supplies, you've got to sit down for, 50 plus hours to make the thing. And then, unless you're Bianca, of course, because Bianca can finish a lace weight full body top in 27 minutes. But aside from Bianca, the rest of us need 50 plus hours to finish, a solid sized garment. And it needs to be in a fabric that you will wear, in a color that you like. There's all these things. So that top that I made last week, which is out in the kitchen dining table, so if you want me to go and grab that, I will. But the tide pool that I made, it was 3 strands of yarn held together. of different finer grade cottons because I crochet in chipmunk mode. Sorry, I'm just crocheting, and it's just grannies, so I'm not even thinking. I'm sorry, but yeah, so it's we just have these things in our stashes that sometimes won't work individually, but sometimes we will. If we hold them together, they'll work. So also don't diminish that. So if you've got a project that needs to be worsted weight and you've got a couple of fingering or 4-ply yarns that you just love the look of together, give them a swatch. It may actually make it, and you'll need to work out your meterage and all that kind of stuff, but it may be enough. It might do the job. So, or hold 2 of the strands of the same color together, or hold different yarns together. You can hold lace weights and 4-plies, and you can hold them all together and just swatch it up and see how it looks, because sometimes it's stunning. And the other thing, if you do things like that, then no one else is going to have the same as you if you've sort of come at it sideways. Now I'm going to go and grab that top. I'll be 1 second. You can look at this because it's literally just on the other side of this door. I'll be back. Okay, see, I told you I'd be fast. So this is the top from last week, and it's 3 strands held together. It's like a slubby white yarn, which they're all tucked away and they're harder to get out, so I can't get them for you. But it's a slubby white yarn and a variegated pinks, purples, and peaches. So sometimes you've got a purple, sometimes you've got a pink look, and then it's also a green yarn. So there was 3 yarns held together. I think all the ends are woven in, so I can't even show you. Like looking around for rubbish, no, I cleaned up. So I can't even show you the 3 strands separately. Like, did I weave in all the ends? Really? That's unlike me. But yeah, so having those 3 strands, these are on cones of yarn that I had back in my machine knitting days. These have been in my stash for probably 15 years, and I haven't touched them because individually they were too fine for anything I wanted to make. So, but held them together and I really love the look. Now I did learn that I can't frog because of the slubby. It makes it too difficult to frog anything out. But as long as you don't make any mistakes, right? We're good. We're good to go. Let's have a look here. Oh, your garage sales and estate sales, definitely worth checking, especially if you know they're a non-smoker. So I personally am a non-smoker, so I can't buy yarn from a house that's had smokers in it because the yarn just smells, and also, like, I have to warn people, I have pets, I have dogs and cats and stuff always here. So having pets around, you need to let people know about that as well. Quite often you can wash more of the pet smell out a lot easier than you can wash out cigarette smell, but both can be a bit tricky. I really love the Tantec delicate wash. It really gets rid of any pet smells. Bianca says, who makes mistakes? Not us. Oh, I legit make mistakes all the time. Russell, didn't you get the memo? It's Blue Day. Little Crafty Nook says, these colours are my channel brand colours. They're such pretty colours together. They work so nicely. That's a bit loose. Let's try again, eh? So having these discussions with yourself in your own brain, sometimes you need to write it down, research out the yarn. I was chatting with a friend. We were looking at yarns for a particular project and we wanted, I was like, well, I want to do it in Sierra and they want to do theirs in something else. And so we were looking at the meterages and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, so, is that going to work? And it's like, well, probably going to work for Sierra for me. So I'll probably have to go, if I decide I want to make it, I'm going to have to go shopping. So yeah, it's just it's just one of these things where you really do need to sit down and look at the construction of yarn. So on Ravelry, it will quite often tell you the construction of a yarn. There's a website called yarnsub.com where you can type in the yarn that the pattern says, and then and you know that you want to substitute, and it will help come up with suggestions for substitutes. So that's really useful as well. So if you've got like a yarn that's like a big fat loosely spun single that's worsted weight, and then you try to replace it with a multi-plied spun cotton, the stitches and the pattern are going to end up looking very different. So when you're substituting yarn, it's, if you can at all, replace it with yarns of similar construction. That is also super helpful. Now, obviously getting a gently spun single of cotton is nearly impossible, but what is a really useful replacement for that are the chainette cottons. They're super useful. So they've all been tightly spun and then knitted into a thin tube. So that cotton solstice from Bendigo, that's a chainette, which I absolutely love chainettes. The panettone from Hobie is a chainette. And for me, they are a really, really great substitute for a thicker, heavier worsted weight yarn, especially if I want cotton instead of acrylic or wool. So they give me the density and the squishiness, not the density, what am I saying? The actual diameter, the squishiness of the thicker wool or acrylic while being cotton, but also being much lighter than they would have been if they were just a standard cotton ply. And I find the chainettes harder to get my hands on, but when I spot one, I go a little bit hard. Like, I'm sorry, I have enough Bendigo Solstice to make a couple of tops at least when it came out. And I'm like looking around because they're like, we got this as a special from a mill and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, whose yarn is this? I want more of these. I want more of these. Bianca says, I don't think it's so much the smell as allergies. I think it depends on the individual, especially when it comes to pet hair. That's probably more an allergy. But the cigarette smell, I'm not allergic to cigarettes, but I really don't enjoy the smell of them, especially not in my clothes, and especially not if I haven't been to a fun event that meant that I was around crazy smokers or something, like a concert or whatever. Although in Australia, you can't smoke at any events like that anyway, but I know in other countries you can. But yeah, like back when I was young, you go to a nightclub, you come home, you smell like cigarette smoke, whether you're a smoker or not. Now you don't now you're not allowed to smoke in nightclubs. So, you don't smell like cigarette smoke. So I'm not in many environments where I have to deal with that smell. So I certainly don't want it in my yarn in my house. I'm probably the same, Francis. I'm pretty sensitive to the different smells. The reality is, as we work on projects, unless you're wearing very special gloves, which I obviously am not, your skin cells and your body oils and, all that sort of stuff, that will all end up in your yarn. That will all end up in your project. Half my hair ends up in my projects as well. Even though it's short and I keep it pulled back, it's still in my projects. So when I can give these a wash, I can't always get rid of all the hair because it gets twisted into the stitches. But I can get rid of like the hand oils and that sort of stuff when I wash it. So that's one of the really important things, is to make sure you do wash the garments before you wear them, you do definitely wash anything that you're gifting. After you finish making it, it needs a wash. Unless you are working in some hermetically sealed room that doesn't allow anything into it, and you're wearing some sort of bunny suit with gloves and no part of your skin or clothing is touching the garment or the thing that you're working on, then that needs to be washed before you gift it as well. I highly recommend washing it in something either no scented or low scented, so that your giftee doesn't get assailed if they have that have allergies. It's very easy to find something that's not scented to wash your garments in. Most supermarkets have something. It's not difficult. So Deb said, sometimes the best conversations happen in the smoker's corner. I don't smoke, but nieces and nephews do. Look, I worked a long time in corporate, and I worked in corporate as a smoker and in corporate as a non-smoker, because I did used to smoke, but I quit. And I still ducked out with the bosses and what have you during the smoke breaks, because it was where half of the business meetings were held, was outside the mailroom door, which is where we all stood to smoke at that particular place. And you'd have people from multi-departments, you know, collaborating on a project that would actually come to fruition within the company, because usually these borders don't cross, but they do in the smoker's corner. So yeah, it was just one of these things. But you know, and I remember I got a new boss, and he was just like, "You don't smoke," and I'm like, "No, I don't." And he goes, "Why do you go for smoke breaks?" And I'm like, "Because I, you know, get to stand up, move around." I'll quite often take, because I worked in accounts payable, I'd quite often take stuff that needed to be signed by the people that were on the smoke breaks. I'd be like, "Well, I definitely know where to find such and such at this time of the day," and it took a little bit of fast talking, because, you know, smokers were at that stage, probably not so much now, but they were allowed to just nick out and go and have a ciggy and then come back in and have all these extra breaks. Now, I wouldn't go out like every hour or anything silly like that, but twice a day for sure. You know, but I didn't feel any guilt about it, because I was one of those workers that didn't take my full lunch break like ever. So I felt like it was just moved around. And then when I explained all that to the new boss, he was fine with it. I think the big part of it was getting the check signed. But, you know, I know it's a lot harder now. And these things that happen now, it's like, it's definitely more water cooler talk these days, corporate. It's like, you know, into the kitchenette. But it's less, I don't know, it's less, I don't know what it was about the smoker's corner. I don't. So I'm going to have another sip of my coffee. Little crafty nooks said our nurse aides would take so many smoke breaks, it was ridiculous, but try to tell them anything. I think it's funny that nurse aides are smoking. But also, like, I was like, you know, I would make up those hours elsewhere. Like, you don't just get to have the break, if that makes any sense. Like, just give yourself an extra, you know, 5-minute breaks throughout the day without having to make them up somewhere else. Like, you've got to make it up. You've got to make it up. Francis says that, hang on a second, I missed it. I've got to scroll back. Cat hair as he dived across my spinning, trying to get attention. I had a big issue with one of my cats when I was weaving. Jazzy, she's gone now, but the second I would pull out the loom, Jazzy would try and lay in the top of it, and it'd be like trying to pull tension, and there's a 4-kilogram cat laying on it, and you're just like, "Oh, honey, come on, you can't sit there." And she'd just be like, "Well, no, you pulled out my loom. This is my spot. I'm going to sit here now. Can you finish warping it up so I've got somewhere to lay? Like, hurry up." Yeah, looms are cat hammocks, didn't you know? Well, I do now. I didn't know that when I first started weaving. I was very perplexed. But I should have known, because it was something I was touching. Therefore, it now belonged to a pet. I should have known. But I just assumed, because it was my loom and I'd paid for it and I was doing all the work, that it would be my loom. But that's not how it works. It's not how it works. So, yeah. let's give it a twist. So I'm currently on to, I believe it is the third ball of the project. We've just started it last night. And I'm trying very hard to not be picky about where and how I join, like, you know, where within the colours I'm changing and joining colours. I'm trying just to let it go and do its thing. It's very hard. I was like, oh, look, yes, it's the purple bit, but that's the wrong purple. And I went to pull it to join it to make it so the colours matched. And I realised what I was doing. I was just like, stop. Just use the yarn. Stop it and just use the yarn. Because it's one of the goals that I'm working on with this particular project is to not be precious about how and where I'm joining the colours on, because that will it has slowed me down to a stop before. And I don't want to stop. I want to get this skirt done. I've got other projects I want to make. And while I have the skirt going, it seems to be the project I pick up all the time. Like, I've got a musselburgh hat going, and I don't think I've put any stitches on it in at least a week. I know I certainly haven't done more than a row on my Whisper cardie from the Tunisian cardie that I'm working on. So, you know. Oh no, Abby, Tibbles is at my window. Yeah. So Tibbles the cat went outside, and then he got caught. Then he came back in, and I was like, "Oh, good, he's in before the live stream." Unfortunately, he talked Abby into letting him back outside again, but because he doesn't like to be outside for any longer than 5 minutes, I know you're comfortable, honey. I'm just gonna see if I can. I'm gonna just hang on a second, Dad, before you go out. I'm gonna see if I can add him into the stream. Hang on, Tibbles. Hang on, Tibbles. Where is it? I can't find my little. Oh, here we go. That's the one. Is it gonna choose? There we go. There he is. Hi, Tibbles. Oh, look, there's a pile of yarn. There's my messy desk. Tibbles out the window. All right, Abs, you could go rescue him now. It's like, Mum.
Wait.
Hey, Louie. He's not happy, Abby. All right, let me just change cameras. Abby, please, you can stop that now. Oh, that's so funny. Hi, Holly. Good to see you. All right, coffee. So everybody, that was Mr. Tibbles. He's 16. He is a grumpy old man. That's right. He's not playing the Crimsafe harp. He's just yelling. It could possibly be singing. I don't know. But he is just yelling through the window. What he does is he finds a window that he can see someone, and then he stands there and yells. It's quite funny if you're asleep. It's not funny. It's not funny at all when you're asleep, actually. He says, "Stop filming me and let me in." Yeah, he's like, everybody, because Abby came into this room. Oh, that's the thing. If you tell him you're going to the back door, he will just run from whatever window he's at to and wait for you at the back door. He is not silly. He may act silly sometimes, but he's not. He's a good boy. Oh, Louie. Louie's in. Let me just see if I can get the Louie cam going. Hey, Lulu. cam, Louis cam. Got Louis in the Louis cam. There he is. Zoom in just a little. No, can we not zoom in? There we go. Zoom in a little bit more. There he is. All right. Oh, Tibbles is king of judgment faces. He definitely lets you know by the look on his face if he approves of your actions. He is in no way backwards in coming forwards, you know. So this week I frogged a project that I didn't actually even recall ever starting. That's what's in the bag near Louis there. It's a pile of Bendigo, I think it's 8-ply. It might be 10-ply luxury that I don't know when I bought it. It would have been around when luxury first came in. That's now it's like being loud. It would have been when luxury very first came in. I was very excited about luxury back in the day. And it looks like I got to a certain point in a blanket and realized, oh, look, I don't have enough yarn. You know, welcome to the chat. If you've never met me before, my name's Shantel, and I can never seem to estimate enough yarn for patterns that I'm winging. So, yeah. Francis says, after working on the granny cardi for 2 weeks, I have to stop myself from doing trebles. Yeah, like when it's one of those things I find that when I've, you know, switched patterns, I've really got to think about it for a second. I do try very hard to not have the same size hooks for different projects going at the same time, so that my hand just goes, oh, this is different just because of the size of the hook. But that's not always, you know, it's not always possible. Sometimes two projects do take the same size hooks, especially if you like using a similar weight of yarn all the time, like I do. Oh, now, is he wanting to go back out again, Abby? Oh, okay. I thought I heard Tibbles crying again, but it wasn't. It was Abby. Abby's watching a video in her bedroom. Oh, Nitsbin Girl says at the moment Bendigo Woolen Mills is having a flash sale on Prism, which I don't like, and multicolored sock yarn, which I've never tried any of them multicolored. Is it good? I haven't tried their multicolored sock yarn. The Prism I found to be too scratchy for me. I ended up destashing because when it first came out, I was just like, oh my gosh, look at these colors. They are stunning. And I bought like, you know, a boatload. It arrived and I just went, oh. And I tried using it and my hands reacted to it. And I just thought, if my hands can't deal with it, there's no way I'm going to enjoy, you know, anything else. The sock yarn is pretty, but it's very thin. What's the meterage on the sock yarn then? Because most sock yarns are up to around the 400, maybe 430, 450-ish meters per 100 grams. I have to have a check of the meterage. Oops, I only need 2. I did do a little adjustment on Claire's pattern just so that I didn't have to sort of slip stitch across so many stitches. And so when I start a row, I start it with 4 chains. So that is the 3rd chain of the previous, of the next group, so that when you come back, you just do 2 trebles in and then join it to the 3rd stitch, and that gives you 3 chains, which is the treble, and then the extra chain is your spare chain for your loop in the middle, and then I just do the 3 trebles of the second half of the corner. Does anyone else have any suggestions for neatening up the starts of, you know, continuously in the round crochet patterns, because I found that quite often they want you to, you know, slip stitch in and then slip stitch across 27 stitches to get to this thing. And I don't like that look. It changes the elasticity of the fabric for me, because no matter what I do, I can't seem to slip stitch loose enough to make it, you know, work. I either slip stitch too loose so that it looks awful, or I slip stitch too tight and so the fabric has no elasticity. Nitsbin Girl says the label says it's 400 meters, but I think it's still really thin. Yeah, it's like Bendigo have, you know, their own thing. Like their 4-ply cotton is another one that I kind of look at it and go, really, really. And their 8-ply cotton as well. Well, all their cotton. It just seems like the 8-ply feels more like 5-ply, and the worsted weight feels more like DK. You know, you're just like, okay, are we just inventing weights now? We're like, no, I now feel that this 400 meters or, you know, this 700 meters is saying that it's 400 meters. But yeah, it could also be like that it's just got a bit of extra twist, especially for socks. Sometimes you want that. It just depends. But, you know, as long as you know going in, that's the big thing, isn't it? You know going in that this runs thin. I'm tempted to have a look. I haven't seen it. I haven't bought it. I was going to buy, so I've been trying to stop myself, okay? So I don't need any help from you lot. Stop myself from buying the yarn to make the Havana, because it needs like, I don't know what I worked out about, but 3.2 kilos of yarn or something, right? So I was like, oh man, do I want to buy that in acrylic, or do I just want to get it in Bendigo? Like, what do I want to do here? And then, so I've got all this yarn in my cart while I decide. And I realized, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Oh, really? Their undyed yarn is completely different. That's one that's really nice and squishy. That is weird. 4,000 meters is a lot. Yes, it is. But what's 4,000 meters? Did I say something was 4,000 meters? I'm very confused. Josephine says, I might have bought 4 kilos maybe. Oh, Josephine, you make my life so hard, because you're like, hold my beer. Like, oh, I don't know if I want to buy this yarn, and you're like, here, hold my beer. But no, I went a little bit hard in some yarn purchases at the end of last year, and I want to use up some of that yarn before I make any more yarn purchases. Basically because I was sort of condensing a lot of my yarn down to fit in a particular space, and I was succeeding, and I was so proud of myself, and now it doesn't fit in that space anymore. So I'm like, okay, I really was happy. And it's not a small space. I don't feel like I'm being stingy or anything with myself. Nothing like that. I just wanted to take up less room with my stash. Now that did mean I started buying yarn in a different way, so it was, you know, more compact. That was awesome. But you know, I just like buying, you know, 500 grams of cotton on a cone rather than as 10 balls. That's a good way to space save. Like, yeah, that definitely works. Hello, Hobie, and your coned cottons. Love that. But yeah, it's just, it was just like I just wanted this space to be a bit tidier, that I sort of, I work in this space, I craft in this space, I watch TV in this space. Like, I hang out here a lot, and I just wanted it to be a little bit less cluttery, and I wanted to be able to get access to like my Cricut easily, and some of the stuff that I had in my shelving units I've had to pull out because I wanted the yarn in the shelving units, and so now there's things that are out that I actually want in, and you know, I'll get there. I'll get there. Which yarn did you end up going with, Josephine? Did you end up choosing that yarn that you showed me that you'd picked up from the little shop? The little, what was it, that special, that different acrylic? My brain won't give me the name. It keeps saying Marley, but it's not Marley, is it? I don't know. Anyway, Knitting Yarn Co. keeps sending me messages now like, hey, how's it going? We saw that you were looking at this thing and this thing. Like, cool. Thanks. Yeah, I was looking. Good work there. Deb says, I'm in the process of culling and sorting my craft room, making my craft room, culling and sorting and making my craft room much more tidy. Because, look, I think that this happens to a lot of us. We get into, like, it's the same as, like, subscription creep. We get into yarn creep and fabric creep and all the other hobbies. Abby gave me the most gorgeous thing for Mother's Day, like, aside from the Apple Watch, like, which is amazing. But she also gave me, hang on, let's see if I can get them out, some Lego flowers. And then we proceeded to go and check out all the different Lego flowers. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is legit a rabbit hole I could fall down so easily. There's so many gorgeous, close back up there. There's so many gorgeous variations of these Lego flowers. And I fell down a rabbit hole and I was looking at them and I nearly bought myself another set straight away. And I was like, no, oh my gosh, no. Once I've got everything in here sorted out and I've got the new shelves up that I want to put up, then I will allow myself to purchase some more. I'm really hoping that they don't stop making them and get rid of them before I have, my reward system ready, because I'm not quite ready to buy what I want to buy here. So basically, we've got this space here and it's just got like this little chest of drawers and this little shelf here, right? But and so it's not utilizing any height whatsoever. And we have a serious storage issue problem here in our home. And so what I want to do is build one of those narrower shelves. So I don't want the wide shelves, but I do want, because I still need to be able to fit my chair and everything in here. And I want to build some IKEA, just their old-fashioned bare timber shelves that they have. And I want to be able to stack all my handmade blankets on it and put the stuff some of the stuff out of the drawers on it. Baskets of my technical gear as well as, I want them to have lids so they don't get dusty, but, and stash and put all the pretty lights through it and be able to change and adjust it a lot easier. Anyway, there's lots of, but first of all, I need to sit down and buy the shelf set, and they're not that dear. It's just something I need to do. And then when I buy it, I have to empty all this out so that I can build it and get it in, So, and then do I leave a space big enough at the bottom to keep the chest of drawers there, or do I ditch the chest of drawers entirely? I'm thinking I'll ditch them entirely. I don't know. I don't know the answers to all the questions, which is why I haven't purchased said shelving unit yet. I also wanted it to be just shelves and not doors with cabinets and doors with drawers, because I need to be able to roll this chair around and still access the things. So I need it to be open and not closed. Oh, the sunflowers look gorgeous, Josephine. Mel says that my daughter got me the orchid because I kill the real ones. Oh my gosh. I love Lego. I love Lego so much. And I am just so happy with these flowers that I really did fall down a rabbit hole. And then I saw this image, this video where someone was walking down a street in New York, and somebody has created like all their gardening and their like the greenery all around their stair balustrades and all that sort of stuff And then it turned out it was all Lego. And you're just like, isn't someone just going to steal the Lego overnight? Like, it was probably an art installation, but it was gorgeous. So, but yeah, it's a rabbit hole. And I said to my daughter, is this your way of getting back at me for the Squishmallow? Because many years ago, I was out shopping with some friends and I spotted a Squishmallow. I'd never heard of them before. I'd never seen them before. It was really cute. It seemed like an odd choice to give my sort of middle teen daughter because squishy toy, right? And I was like, oh, I don't know if she's going to like this. And I gave it to her for Christmas. I was like, I hope she doesn't hate it. Well, she not only doesn't hate it, but she fell down a rabbit hole and now owns, I can't even tell you how many Squishmallows she owns. Quite a lot. And they're all very cute. So, but yeah, gorgeous. Natalie Power says I got a box of Lego flowers for Mother's Day last year and then another one for my birthday. One of the things that I love about the Lego flowers is not only do you get flowers, but you get Lego and you get to make the flowers. And it was so fun. It's been such a long time since I built Lego, like since Abby was probably 5 or 6, when we used to sit out in the living room and Lego up all the time. But I'm like, man, maybe I should pull out all the Legos and just build everything that's, you know, there and just get them built. And then they can sit on my shelves too. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, so it's so easy to fall down another rabbit hole, and I'm trying very hard not to until after I get these extra shelves. Then I'll happily fall down the rabbit hole. If somebody gifted me one, I'm just saying, if, you know, because there's someone in the other room, I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't get angry or anything like that. Like, oh no, I don't want any yet. No. I'm just not buying them for myself right now. That's all. Nat says that Harry helped me make them as part of the present rare quality time. I love that. Russell says that James Wedmore is a big Lego fan. He'll be BBD based upon that toy series. Really? That's very interesting. I love Lego so much. I really do. It's just really addictive. And for me, it's like a following processes thing. If you just follow the processes, you'll end up with the thing at the end. And I love that about it. So, oh, not on the right camera. Sorry about that, everybody. Didn't even realize. I was showing, what was I showing to get the camera to switch? I don't know. Like, welcome to my professional stream where I randomly do stuff that I don't even know why I did it. Louis still snoozing. Tibbles has stopped his a sale on the back door to be let out for now. Probably just conserving some energy. Give him 5 minutes. He'll be back at it. So yeah, he loves a good yell at the wind. He's definitely the old man, keep off my grass. So yeah, that's the process. Just follow the process and you'll succeed. Yeah, I figured it was something along those lines. But yeah, it's just, I have to be very careful with Lego because I get very, very hooked into working on the projects and I can't stop. It's like jigsaw puzzles. If I tip out a jigsaw puzzle to work on, I'm not one of those people that can leave a jigsaw puzzle alone and work on it like over a week or something like that. I have to, you know, around other jobs. No, nothing else exists now except for that puzzle. So even cooking and stuff like that is a bit like, oh, wait, hang on a second. I've been working on the puzzle for... I was the same with Abby's, what was that? Glitter? No. The dots. Where you put the little plastic things on the sticky thing. Diamond dots. The little diamond dots. So, where I just want to work through it and finish it and things like that. So, I love doing them and I have a few there, but I have to be very, very aware of time and what needs to be done around it, to make it so that I am aware and cautious of what I'm doing, because I do get sucked into projects is what it is. I learned a long time ago, like with crochet and knitting, to, move around and stuff like that. I'll check it out, Russell. I don't know if I can, but I'll check it out. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Yeah, Holly gets addicted to puzzles. Nitsbin Girl loves puzzles. The Game Widow says jigsaws are banned in my house because I become obsessive. Yeah, one of the things I love about the diamond dots is that once you finish putting it all together, you get to keep it together. And that's a frustration point that I have with jigsaw puzzles, is that the second it's finished, it gets, pulled apart and put back in the box. And I get frustrated. I'd be one of these people that would be tempted to glue them down. So we don't do a lot of puzzles here. Francis is asking, has anyone had any experience with doing a Shetland style vest but in crochet? I don't know what a Shetland style vest is. I'd have to look that up. Do you have a pattern that I could look at on Ravelry that would give me an idea of what a Shetland style vest is? One of the things that I love about this particular pattern of Claire's is once you get past sort of this section, so you've got the waist, you've done all your all your pentagons, they're all stitched on, they're all joined together, you've done the waistband. That's the hard part. And by hard, it's not that hard, but that's the trickier part. The rest of it's just round and round, follow the procedures kind of ripple project, and it's just, you just keep going. So I'm definitely going to be adding in at least this ball that I'm Fair Isle maybe. Oh, I understand. You mean like color work, but in crochet. I haven't. It would be very thick, I would think. There'd be color work there'd be definitely color work patterns, and that's probably, the mosaic is probably close to it. There'd have to be a Fair Isle or stranded color work style for crochet, but it's probably just called something else. My brain's telling me it's called something else, and I can't think of what it is. So stranded color work in crochet. I don't know. Russell says puzzles to me are like computer video games. They engulf you until completed and leave you with yet another few hours gone out of your life. Yeah. So I know that for some people that's a negative, right? But for me, sometimes I need the mental break. My brain whirs, and sometimes these particular processes either slow it down to a dull roar, or actually nearly like pause it so that I don't have to think about all 11 million things that I'm currently thinking about. And so being able to stop my brain from nearly over revving, it's actually a positive thing for me. And so not everyone is the same, and not everybody has the same sort of brain, but finding what calms you down and slows you down so you can relax or sleep or whatever it is that you need to do, finding that method I think is really useful. I know that when I get very stressed out and overwrought, crochet is a huge way for me to deal with emotional strain. It helps me to process things, because while I'm thinking about the crochet and whatever else I've got going on, it's nearly like it can just sort of, I don't know the way to describe it. I just find that it works for me. It helps me. And not everybody is the same. I had to plan a massive change and pivot last year. And it was a bit sad and a bit disappointing for some of it. And I was really struggling to deal with it. And so out came the crochet, and I crocheted, I think it was 4 blankets in 4 weeks. It was very, very, it was a lot. There was a lot to think about and adjust. It might have been the year before. But it helped. It got me through it. Better than many other paths to escape. Oh yeah, oh definitely. There's a lot worse that you could do than a jigsaw puzzle or a video game, for sure, or a crochet project even, for that matter. There's a lot worse options out there. The thing that I liked about the crochet blankets that I was making is that the second the decisions were made, my hands slowed down and I no longer needed to keep them so busy. And I was able to stop making, 11 million blankets. I was able just to get back on my normal crafting path. Because the other problem was I couldn't concentrate on anything difficult. So while my brain was processing all this other stuff, I couldn't work on a pattern that required any level of concentration. Everything had to be really, I mean, not basic, but easy to digest. I had to have easily digestible steps for each thing. And so, I made some great fun blankets. I actually made my first TL Yarn Crafts project. I made her bubblegum blanket, which was out of Saucer Fibers. I want to say Aran, what's that Aran weight acrylic called? Anyway, it was the perfect yarn for that project. And it was also the start of a few long weeks. So, yeah. But, finding coping mechanisms for different things in your world, it's not a bad thing to utilize yarn for that sometimes. The trick is coming out of the bubble at the end. That's at least for me, that's the hard part. Alrighty. There's got to be an easier way to go round and round. I see every now and again people put their large projects on like a lazy Susan. Has anybody here in the chat ever done that? So that you can kind of just keep it spinning as you're working on it. I'm like, I love the idea, but it also means you have to work at a table all the time, which I don't. I quite often go and sit on the couch. Feet up, comfy, whatever it is. Comfort plus. Okay. So who here in the chat has made a garment before that they wear whenever the opportunity arises? Like whether it's a top or a sweater or shorts or whatever it is, like, let me know. The designer who designed the shorts, not the shorts, the knitted joggers, so the track pants basically, she has a shorts pattern. And I am tempted because those knitted trackies are so comfy. I don't wear them out of the house. Like, I'm going to be honest. I don't wear them out of the house. But I'm hanging out for the cold weather so that I can wear them in the house again, because they're like wearing a pant-shaped blanket. They're so comfy. And I'm also very much looking forward to being cold enough to justify me wearing my Jethro cardigan. It is so toasty warm. Oh, Bianca makes garments. She makes the most beautiful garments, and she does. She wears them lots. Vampire says, I have a crochet jumper that I've used for the last 3 winters. Oh, I love that. I love that. It's, yeah, like I use a lot of blankets all the time, but I don't, like, I'm making actual garments. Look, I was put off garments for a long time. Jenny King got me back onto garments a few years back. And then I wanted a different style of garments. So I went back off again, and now I'm back on again. Francis says, I just finished my Hex Granny Cardi, shared photos to the Discord. First item for me in ages that isn't a scarf. Oh, excuse me. I can't wait to go and check it out. Game Widow says, I have a few jumpers, about to grab one. I am cold. Yeah, this morning I had to, like, there's a bit of a chilliness. I wouldn't say it's cold. There's a chilliness in the air here. I've had to, I got long pants and long sleeves and socks. Admittedly, everything's cotton, but it's long. I mean, I don't feel rugged up as such, just covered up. But yeah, I think there's something special about having your own handmade clothes that look fantastic. And you're walking down the street and people don't go, oh well, that's homemade, isn't it? They are just like, wow, nice sweater, or nice top. Vampire says, hardest part of garments is tweaking the patterns for my body shop. Tell me about it. I automatically have to add in extra stitches underarms. It's just one of these things. But isn't that the greatest part of being able to make your own garments? Is that's an option. Tweaking the pattern so it fits you just how you want it to. Admittedly, sometimes that involves some frogging back and trying again, but so worth it. So worth it. Game Widow says, last year I accidentally made a knitted hoodie. Oh, that's hilarious. Hoodie's bringing out like tracksuits and stuff now, where they've got bottoms and tops in their hoodie fabric. They're very cute. I don't know if I'd go that far. I don't think I need to go that hard with the hoodie fabric. I've got my hoodie and I love it. It keeps me toasty. But that's it. That's all I need. There we go. Dolores, it's good to see you. Welcome to the chat. Alrighty, I'm up to the next. So yeah, you get to the end of the round and you just do 2 of the trebles and join into that chain and then just slip stitch into the chain space and you're ready to start the next row. You don't have to do, like a million slip stitches across stitches. And we are, making a goodly dent on that ball of yarn. How long have we got it now? Let's have a look. I'll measure to the short point and to the long point, because there's a big difference between the short point and the long point. Hello, tape measure. All right, so far to the short point. Oops. Oh no, to the long point we're going first. To the long point, we're at about 15 inches or 38 centimeters. Still too short. Like, we're under no illusions here. And then for the short point, we are at 13 inches or 33 centimeters. Oops, there we go. I'd love an hoodie in pants form. My lower body gets much colder than, well, check it out. They've got some stuff there. Okay, where's the end that I was working on? I've lost it. There it is. Let's keep going. All right, so is anybody planning on making a garment in the near future? Is it like, you know, the next project up or within the next couple of projects? And what made you choose that particular one? Sometimes I end up like, I've got the yarn and I'm like digging through looking for patterns that'll suit the yarn. Sometimes I've got the pattern and then I want something that you know, I may need to buy the yarn for that pattern, or you know, I may have the yarn in my stash. Like, never have the yarn in my stash. I've just about always got to buy the yarn. But yeah, so I've currently got enough yarn for quite a few really comfortable tops. So I want to get some of those done. Since I started this skirt, I haven't touched my Pride top. I've got it just here. I can show you where I'm up to with it. I'm very much looking forward to getting that one done as well. I think it'll be lovely to wear. It's another one that's beautiful and soft. It's actually a Bendigo cotton it just seems to be a bit softer than it used to be. Or, you know, it's an older cotton. I think I've had it in my stash for a bit. Let me have a look up here. Yeah, yes, did somebody say hoodie? Yes, we did. Bianca's got another top getting ready to go. So that is good. Game Widow says, yes, I've balled up the yarn for another magpie tendencies to wear at Bendigo. Awesome. Kelly says, I always have a top in my queue and yarn for it ready to go. I just need to knit faster. Oh, I know that feeling. When I finish all the socks, I'm going to knit a cardi in dark purple prism. Only about 10 pairs to go. Oh my gosh. How long does it take to knit? How long do you take to knit a pair of socks, Nitsbin Girls Creations? Because I take an age to knit socks. But you seem to like power through, like Game Widows, she powers through with her socks as well. Vampy says, I'm planning a crochet t-shirt for summer. That is awesome. Francis says, yeah, I want a green sweater. Last year they were in the shops, but all acrylic. Almost finished spinning the fiber. That is awesome. That is awesome. And Spin Girl says 3 to 4 days per pair. Do you, like, you know, if I'm asking too many questions, please tell me to hush up. But are you working full time anymore, or are you getting to spend your time at home knitting the socks? Because I know these particular socks, they are a commission, they're a job. So I'm not, you know, I'm just curious. Like, are you fitting in other stuff and also knitting a pair of socks in 3 to 4 days? Because I don't know how you're doing it, and I want to know. I want to know. I need the answers. Please don't tell me to be quiet. But I'm going to pop this down for a second. My fingers need a little break. And I'll show you where I'm up to with the Pride sweater and my Muscle Borough hat. Game Widow says, my last pair took 7 months, usually a week or so, depending on what else I'm doing. Okay. All right. Oh, you're knitting socks full time. Okay. All right. No, that's cool. All right. So that makes me feel a little bit better, because that's your job. That's your job to knit the socks, and you're knitting socks. So I get that. All right. I feel less, you know, that's fine. but that's still impressive. Like even, yeah, that's still impressive. I actually don't know how long it would take me if I just sat down and knitted socks. I mean, I knitted that muscle borrow hat pretty quick, the first one. That's, 3mm needles and sock yarn. So I use the same amount of yarn as I would in a pair of socks. It's a bit different because of the shaping, but like still lots of stitches, lots of little stitches in little yarn with little needles. Alrighty. I keep saying I'm going to put it down and show you the other things. No, I don't. There we go. Put it down. All right, so this is the muscle borrow hat in my sock sack. And that's where I'm up to. I'm working on little needles, so I can't open it right out. But that's where I'm up to with that one. It's making a normal sized hat. It's just scrunched up so it fits on my little needles so I can go round and round faster. And this is a Fiber Lily color. It was the colorway of the month in April 2023, Magical Mystery Ride. It's so cute. I really love the colors that that's giving us. And it's got lots of little stitches. I'm using 2.5mm needles this time. I wanted to, it's got lots of stretch to it, so that's good as well. So that can go back in there. Get back in the sock sack. Boom. I am loving my sock sack, I have to say. I was a little worried that maybe it was going to be a smidge small, especially with the ball from the Kato, because they're much bigger balls. But it's fine. It's doing absolutely great. And I was like, oh, what if you were knitting a whole beanie or you had much more of the beanie or whatever? I'd have less of the yarn. So, yeah, super happy with that at this stage of usages. Oh, there it is. I'm thinking, what did I do with that cardigan? It was right here. And then this is where I'm up to with the Pride. Let's try that there. So I still haven't split the sleeves yet. So we have neckband. Again, I would need, longer needles to bring it out. But we've got the neckband. We've got all the increasing happening. This is just a 4-ply cotton on... The needles won't tell me the size. I don't know. I'm going to say probably a 4mm. Um, 375 mil. So I wanted it loose and open, so that's what I'm giving myself. So that's where that one's up to. But once I get to splitting for the underarm, I'm going to helix in some extra colors. So that will be fun in the shopping bag. So this is just a Coles grocery bag that's it's made out of the plastic, and I added in some snap locks just so I can close it up, but also added on a little bulldog clip so I can feed yarn through it if I want to. So yeah, that's how I have adapted that. If anyone is interested or cares about what I do to get extra project bags in various sizes. But yeah, that's a nice big one. That one's great for massive projects. The other thing I like about that is I'll actually have, if I want to go somewhere and want to take a couple of projects with me, I can actually dump 2 projects right on top of it, and just carry the one bag. So that's why I like that one as well. It's got nice long handles and makes it easy to actually be the project lugging bag too. So in that bag I can fit my, so it's got the Pride sweater plus also the muscle borrow plus also the Tunisian cardigan, the Muna cardi from TL. They all fit in that bag. And they're the 3 that I was going to rotate through. And then I started the skirt. And now I'm no longer rotating through those 3. I seem to just be making a skirt. So I figured I'll get the skirt finished and then get back on the bandwagon with the others. That seems logical, right? I do throw some stitches onto the muscle burrow every now and again just as a break. And like I have every intention to work on the muscle burrow and then end up, doing something else. So, oops, what have I done there? I've caught the wrong spot for that stitch. There's the gap. Okay. But yeah, so, we all work on our projects, how we work on our projects. Nitsbin Girl says there's more knitting in a muscle burrow hat than a pair of socks. I used a full 100 g to knit a muscle burrow, but a pair of socks usually takes around 70. Okay. Well, there we go. If I sat down and did it, I actually love the look of Laura Nelkin's ankle socks, and I'm a big ankle sock wearer. And so I really want to I started them and then I messed something up and I had to frog them. But I do want to go back and make some more because I love like ankle socks and shorter socks. So, and these have been specifically designed for that. And so I'm very keen to get, what were they called? Larch peds. I definitely want to get some of those in my life. But it was just, I botched something up and I couldn't get my brain around it at the time. I know the pattern's fine because 11 million people have made the larch peds. So I'm going to try again, but not just yet. And I can smell Abby's getting ready to go out. I know that's a bizarre way to put it, but she's just done the body mist spray thing and it's just... I did my deodorant. Is that your deodorant, that smell? It's very nice. Oh, it is. It's just deodorant. It really is.
What is wrong with you?
That's a nice one.
No, it's not. I have to breathe in when I put it on. It stinks.
I like it.
Oh my god, you're so weird.
I thought it was your butterfly body spray.
No, this is my butterfly one. This is the sound. Ready?
Yep. Okay, let me have a look at that one. So this is the body spray that she gets, which is also beautiful. Oh, yeah, see? Are you sure you hadn't already sprayed that?
Mum, I was putting my deodorant on.
Because that's the waft I got. Maybe my brain just instantly gave me this smell when I thought you were putting this on. I am a bit weird, but my brain does it. I've tried to explain to Abby to not remind me of smells that made me feel sick because my brain instantly remembers those smells and tries to make me sick again. There you go. I love that one. That one's lovely.
I think the dog's so nice.
No, he's a dog. Oh, Louie. I'm so sorry, big man. I know, you can get dog body spray. Nitsbin Girl says, my daughter prefers ankle socks. They are so much faster to knit. Yeah, the large pads have got like a, excuse me, a double thickness around the top. And that's where it gets tricky because you sort of knit this shape and then you change yarns and then knit it again and then you join them together to create this thicker.
If your socks aren't that size, you're doing it wrong.
Abby's like socks that look, seriously, your socks
they're clean.
They're so gross. Anyway, they're Abby clean. Likes her socks this long.
They're quarter length. They're good. They're very comfortable. What is an ankle sock?
Abby's dissing on the ankle socks.
I'm an ankle sock hater.
She says she's an ankle sock hater. Well, good on ya. Okay. Coffee's nearly done. Coffee is done. And I don't know why, but today I decided to put my tea with a chug cap. Abby's like, 'cause you're dumb. No. Oh, it looks dumb. Well, I don't know. For a start, I couldn't find one of the other lids for one of the other cups. Drive safe. Abby had a little bingle yesterday.
Someone hit me.
Someone T-boned her, but her car is okay.
I'm not.
So, well, I mean, it needs some work. Like, let's be honest, it's going to need a panel replaced, but it's body work. It's not anything structural, apparently. So we'll wait and see how it all goes. Finding out the guy, you know, when the guy's lodged his insurance and gotten the claim and all that kind of stuff. So that's all. That's all how it is. But I was like trying to think like you know, when I'd been in any accidents, and I'd you know, I've scuffed some wheel lines before, and you know, when I was first learning to drive, I even flattened a tire by hitting a gutter too hard. But I think the first time I ever had to like do like an insurance claim, I was actually not even in the car. I was parked at a hospital, and I came out to find someone had smashed into the side of my car. And that was so frustrating. And just it looked like they had multiple goes at it. So yeah, glad Abby's fine. Abby's fine. She's very resilient and physically fine. Bit shocked, but the guy that hit her was super honest, straight up, and didn't have a go at the girls or anything, because like Abby was in the car with a friend, and you know, he did the right thing as well. So, you know, aside from hitting the car, but like he just jumped straight on the phone. He admitted his, you know, wrongdoing, and, you know, straight up, like he was just like, oh, you know, this is my fault. I didn't even see you guys there. He just pulled out straight into them. And I mean, it's a bright blue Nissan Micra. It's pretty hard to miss, but he's in a BT50. So his car, barely a scratch. Like Abby showed me the photos of the damage on his car. Her car, more damage. Hello, Tibbles. Oh, Louis gone. He's gone to check out where Abby's going. But yeah, it's I'm just glad she's okay. I was very stressed out for a bit there. Oh, you out the window? Sorry, I thought she was inside, but she was actually out the window where Tibbles was meowing at me. Oh, okay. But yeah, it's just the nature of driving a vehicle, right? Sometimes these things happen, and they're not your fault, and it is someone else's fault, but you still have to deal with it. So I can't wait to wash this. I know how much softer this fabric gets once you wash it, because I've made a blanket out of this yarn. Well, I've made a couple of blankets out of this yarn. And at first I was a bit worried I'd made it too dense, like too tight. I'd made the stitches too tight, because according to the ball, this is an 8-ply. And so, you know, and I think it recommends a 4mm hook. Let me check here. Yeah, 4mm needles, doesn't specify a hook, but 4mm needles, and I'm using a 3.5. Now, admittedly, I'm a pretty loose crocheter, so I tend to go drop down a little bit anyway, but I drop down to the 3.5 just because it gives me better stitch definition. I once pulled over as there was a bee in my windscreen, and someone reversed out of their drive into me, parked on the other side of the road, then tried to blame me. Oh, That's just awful. There's a big debate going on in our local area about who gets right of way when someone's, pulled out of their driveway, because they were having a big old whinge on the local Facebook group. Like, you come over these hills so fast and, you just take us out, blah, 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 blah. And then people are just reminding this person that, if you are living on one of these main streets, you're supposed to actually back in so that you don't need to reverse out, or you turn around in your yard. You're not supposed to reverse out. And they were just like, oh, well, if they just slowed down. It's just like, no. You've come onto the Facebooks having a rant about these people breaking the law and breaking the rules. And it turns out you're breaking the rules and you just don't like the rules after all. It's like, wow, okay. Game Widow says, our in-house tech supports at work. Someone managed to park their car on top of the school's fence. It's not a small fence and there's no driveway anywhere that close. I had questions. I had a friend who came back to find her car had been basically driven over the top of by a truck pulling into a driveway. And then it turned out that somebody had video footage of it, and the trucking company still tried to get out of it like all sorts of ways, but then it turned out that they weren't insured. Like, they didn't have their vehicles properly insured. So yeah, it was just like, wait, what? Like, oh, you try to blame them for parking legally on a street. It's a residential street that happens to have like a trucking yard down one end, and so they were parked perfectly legally, and a truck literally crumples the front corner of their car because it turned across the front of the car and just drove over it. Hey Vimo, it's great to see you. And so yeah, you're just like, really? So no, I was very impressed that this dude, albeit smushed my daughter's car, he just straight out doing the right thing. So I appreciate that. We will take the small win. And the fact that her car is still drivable makes her very happy, because she very much loves her freedom of having her car. But I tell you what, it has done. And it's been something we've been trying to get her to think about for some time. It's made her think about how ready she is to purchase her next car. Because Craig, which is what she calls her car, was just a little, little cheapy buzz box to learn in and get comfortable in. And she's had him for a couple of years now, and he's getting a bit aged. She got him when he's a 2008 model, and little buzz box. And we've been trying to get her to be like, okay, now you've got Craig and you have to pay the running costs on Craig, but you also need to be saving for the next car, because Craig's not going to last forever. And Abby's always joked about, yes, he will, blah, 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 blah. But now I think she's realized that Craig does have less life than she would like. Our favourite parking story happens to be my friend's cousin in London. Someone decided to park in her driveway and blocked her in. That was annoying enough. But a load of gravel was due to be delivered. Oh, please tell me they just delivered the load of gravel on top of the car. That'd be so cool. I mean, it's not cool. That's not cool. Let's not do that. But you know what I mean? Like, it would feel good. But that's frustrating when people park across someone's driveway. Like, it's a driveway. They're usually pretty obvious that it's a driveway. Like, getting misjudging and like parking a little nose over or something, that's one thing. But like legit parking across the entire thing, that's a whole nother kettle of fish. It was delivered right behind the car. The driveway owner left a note in the car window and a child shovel for them. That's so funny. Like, you can't get out because we took our space that we needed for the gravel. So funny. That's actually a really good way to do it. No actual damage, but they were trapped. That is gold. I do like that. I have to say, I was a little dubious about drinking my tea out of a chug cap, but I like it. I do. I like it. I'm going to do it more often. I like it. So just as a little recap before our stream we're coming towards the tail end. We're not done yet, but we're coming towards the tail end. So we've got Caffeinated Crafters tonight at Beanley, Cafe 63 at Beanley Marketplace. That will start from around 6 p.m. If you can come along, come along. Then we have Productivity Stream on Saturday. That starts at 10 a.m. Brisbane time. So same time that this stream started today, and that'll go for a few hours. Now, I am less chatty in that stream, but we do have music playing. And it's more about us all getting some stuff done. So I don't know if I'll be working on this project or if I'll utilize that time to put some hours into some other projects or into something else. I haven't decided yet. But it is a productivity stream, and it's meant for us to be productive in whatever it is that we need to work on. So come along to that as well if you are hanging around and you've got time. So that is Saturday morning for Australians, or Friday evening for people on the upside down. But yeah, it's a fun one. I actually really enjoy the productivity streams. I love these streams too, don't get me wrong, but there's just something about the productivity streams. I actually come away from them less drained. It's probably because I haven't been talking anywhere near as much. But they tend to go a little bit longer. And I always feel like I achieved something. Do you know what I mean? Like I just oh yeah, we made that. We got it. It's all good. So yeah. And the first one was because the first productivity stream happened because I had a blanket I needed to weave 11 million ends in on, and I needed I needed a cheer squad and some accountability to get through it. So that was what that was for. So if you've got a task that you just need people checking in on you every sort of half an hour or so going, how's that going? Are you winning? Then this will be a great stream coming up in a couple of days. So yeah. Yeah. Alrighty. I am thinking that I might leave this project in here today and work on something else in the living room this evening while I'm watching TV, just to give my hands a little break from the crochet. But then at the same time, I'm like, if I just keep going, it'll be done soon. What would you do? Would you work on something else that you know still needs to be done? Like, there's no deadlines or anything for any of this stuff, luckily. Or would you just finish this and get it done? Let me know in the chat. Game Widow says, I need a productivity stream. So much cutting and sewing needed to be done. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, Nitsbin Girls, send me a message. Send me a message, because I'm not too far from the IKEA, and maybe you can just pop in and have a coffee here. Stretch your legs. It's not an IKEA stretch of the legs, but let me know. But yeah, I think we're going to be alternating Cafe 63 and IKEA. So IKEA will be the first meetup of the month, and Cafe 63 will be the last one. Or the second one. Holly says that I would finish the skirt. Yeah, I'm leaning towards it. I'm also thinking about, I'm thinking I might want to put a crab stitch border on the bottom. Just something just to finish it off. Francis would keep going on the skirt as well. Really? Okay. I'll have to see how much more length we need. I haven't measured to see how long I want the skirt to be. I probably should do that. I do love it. I find it very addictive to work on. And knowing that it's one of these things where, once you're finished, it's finished, unless you want to put an edge on it. And I think I will put a little edge on it. I'd love to be able to match the edge to this, but I think a crab stitch will be the closest. So that's why I was thinking a crab stitch border would kind of match up with that a little bit. Bianca says, we give you permission. I love that. Sometimes you do just need a little bit of external permission for something. Like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Let's just keep working on this. But what I might just quickly do is I might just do a measure-do and see how long I want the skirt to be, just so we've got an idea of how much more work it knits. No, there's no projects with time frames, which is it's a really nice place to be right now. Let me just... Okay. From the waist down. Okay, so I want it to be around the 17 inches mark, approximately. So not shorter than 17 inches. And where were we at? Oh, and I probably mean 17 inches in the short section. So let's... What did we say? We were at 13 inches before. Actually, so we don't have a ton more to do. Let me just do some. So we're at 14 inches. So at least 3 more inches, which is actually not a lot. Like each row is about, what, half an inch? Yeah, each row is a half an inch. So, I could invariably just about be done. I wonder how many more rows I'll get out of this ball. Oh, now I'm like, oh, no, man. I can't put this project down because I've only got 4 more inches to do and it's finished. That's 8 rows. I don't know. I've no idea how long the rows take to do. I haven't timed anything. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, yeah. I'm like, no. Sorry. All projects can just wait. My brain just went, nope. The second I saw the measurements. But I'll probably get to the 17 inches and try it on and probably go, you know what, I like it a little bit longer. But then that's tweaking, and tweaking is different. I can tweak when it comes to the patterns. So, yeah. I can't believe I've only got like a few more inches left to go. My brain just instantly changed gears. It was just like, no, pick the hook back up. Quick, work faster. That's so funny. Oh, man. Isn't it? Does anyone else's brain do that? Realize that you're just like, oh, wait, I'm so close to the finish line. And it's just like a boom, power it out. Oh, come back here. I made you too loose. So I've been watching the Mindhunter TV series. I think it's on Netflix. And I was watching an interview on YouTube, and it was the guy who plays one of the leads in Mindhunter. And I was just like, wait a second. And I realized that he is in Hamilton and he plays the king, and it's hilarious. He goes from like this FBI analyst to this singing king. And I was like, wait, what? And my brain's trying really hard to justify the two. I can't think of the actor's name, but yeah. Francis says, I've been wearing Crocs for 20 years and now they're trendy, and one of my students complimented them the other day. Oh my gosh, my daughter is a Crocs tragic. And I told her that I used to wear Crocs all of the time, like back when she was young, like a toddler. And she was just like, no, you didn't. And I did. They were different Crocs. They weren't like the clogs, but they were Crocs all the same. And she was just like, really? I'm like, yeah, I used to love them. But I haven't worn any in such a long time. But yeah, she's a clog girl. She likes clogs and socks. And she has bright kiwi green and bright neon yellow. So she doesn't go for the subtle colors. Basically, she has glowing feet. It's hilarious, actually. Also, she likes the gibbets. So the little things that the little decorations that you poke in, she likes them too. So, yeah, it's a bit interesting how all that works out. So I was thinking today I was going to put, wear like the leggings that I was going to wear the skirt over, so that I could try it on as I went. But I decided I wanted to wear these other pants that were way more comfortable. So it's just like this. I mean, it could technically probably fit over it, but not how it's supposed to look. Game Widow says I've still got my purple Crocs. I should probably replace them with another pair. I have to fight with Abby for them though. Oh, I went through the phase where my Abby and I had the same size feet, which we do not anymore. She continued to grow. And when she was about a size 7 or a size, I think it's like a 7, around the 7 mark, because I'm a wide 7. I let her pretty well buy any shoes that she wanted. So she was in her early-ish to mid-teens, and she was just like, oh, I really want to get these. And they were like, oh my gosh, my brain's totally blanked on them. They're skater shoes. They've got a good flat sole. They're usually black. Sometimes they're coloured. Oh, my brain won't give me the name of the shoe. I know. I have 3 pairs of them. Anyway, they're an expensive-ish shoe for a teenager. And I let her buy a pair. And I also let her buy this other pair of other shoes as well. And she was just like, Mum, Vans. Thank you. That's it. They're Vans. They're Vans. And I also bought her, let her buy a couple of other pairs of shoes that she really liked. And she was like, why are you letting me have 3 pairs when you normally let me have 1 pair and then I wear those out? And I said, well, this way you can rotate through all 3 pairs. And by the time your foot grows out of them, you won't have destroyed any of them. And she was like, why? And I said, because then they'll fit me. And she was just like, what? And so as she wore out of them, they became the perfect shoes for me because her feet were growing. It was stretching the shoes a little bit wider. And then they were perfect for me. I loved them. They've been so good. I've still got them. I still use them. So, yeah. And so she's just like a size 10 now. Her feet kept growing for a while. But yeah, it's now so the lady's 10 is the men's 8. So now her and my husband fight over shoes in the shoe basket. She'd be like, they're mine. He's like, no, they're mine. Because Abby wears a lot of runners and training shoes and stuff. Oh gosh. Vampy says I've got 4 more rows on a baby hat before decreasing, but can't work on it for a week. Injured my finger that controls the tension. Oh no. Oh, that's awful. Well, yeah, make sure you rest it and give it everything it needs so that when it's time to come back, you're ready. Yeah, absolutely. I've got Vans and my brain won't give me the name of the other ones. I don't wear them as much. I love the Vans. My brain keeps saying Chucks, All-Star Chucks, but they've got another name. Anyway, got those 2. But I'm not as big a fan of the full ankle high things. Nitsbin Girl says I'd be climbing the walls if I couldn't knit. Yeah, when I crushed my fingers and I couldn't knit or crochet or Converse, thank you, that's them Converse. That's the other pairs. There was a flat pair with without the ankle bit, and then there was an ankle bit one. I don't know what they're properly called. The shoes, they're comfy. I wear them. But yeah, when I crushed my hand and I couldn't do any craft. It was so awkward. I couldn't do anything actually because I crushed like 2 fingers, like boom. Those fingers were very smushed and had like cuts and stuff on them. And this one was not in great way. It wasn't the same condition, but I couldn't because when I crushed the fingers, I pulled my hand out and I'd actually ripped a tendon. So I had tendinosis as well. So I'd ripped holes in a tendon. And so that affected the whole hand. So I couldn't grip anything. So I had to sort of amp up my ambidextrousness. But even when you've got like that, you know, you're lucky enough to have trained, like I'm not naturally ambidextrous. I was trained that way. And even though I've got that, you still actually technically use 2 hands. So even though my hands and my hooks had swapped hands, you've still got one hand having to hold the yarn and hold the fabric out so that you can work into it. And I couldn't even do that. So yeah, that made it a lot harder. So I did lots of left-handed coloring in. I've got gel pens and coloring in books and stuff. So sometimes I just need to, you know, turn my brain off, and that's like jigsaw puzzles. That's a way to do it. Yeah, I like the Converse, but I agree with you. There's so little arch support in them. I put my insoles from another pair of shoes in my Connies, and that helped. But the Vans are so much more comfortable than the Connies, in my opinion. I know everybody's feet are different. Different people prefer different things, and that's why we can have so many brands of things, because they're all a little bit different and they cater to somebody else. So, all important to remember. So, I am in the leading edge of a cold, just as an FYI, doing the whole raspy throat thing. I'm feeling okay mostly. But I mean, I don't know if it's like, how do I put it? I don't know. It doesn't feel like a cold. I'm definitely feeling run down though. So it's probably more run down than a cold. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll see. All right, coming around. You know, when you have like a multicolored skein like this every now and again, but you hate one of the colors and you're like, ugh, I hate it when that color comes out. For me, it's usually this muddy of the purple and the green together, which is very pale on the screen right now. It looks very blue. It's not really that blue. I think the colors is gone a bit janked. Let me see if I can fix these colors up. There we go. That's getting a bit more realistic. Oh, messing with my skin. Somewhere in between. There we go. But yeah, it's like this section that's sort of the blue and the green and the purple blending together. That's usually the spot that I hate, but in this one, the tones work really nicely together. But yeah, I don't have a color in this particular one that I don't like. I don't have a nemesis color that I have to work faster to get through so I can get back to the colors that I like. So yeah, oh, I just saw the time. Sorry guys, I ran over again. You just don't warn me. You don't go, Shantel, you over time. Why is that? Just out of curiosity, do you not care, or do you get sucked in and forget to look as well? Or is it like I make this end time and it's arbitrary and none of you actually worry about when I end? Okay. Well, I have had so much fun hanging out today, and I think I'm going to keep working on my skirt and just keep that going and you know, all that sort of stuff. I'm going to hold it up so you can see it sort of real sized. That's where we're at. It definitely needs the extra inches. I'm not like, I wouldn't wear anything this short. And I even think at the extra 4 inches, I'm probably going to want more after that once I put it on and see where it's sitting exactly. Like I measured down to my knee. That's just the very middle of the front of my knee came out that 17 inches. So add a human body in there into the skirt and it'll probably need a bit more. But that's where it's at the moment. I'm really happy with how it's looking. And I've been storing it rolled up like this. I don't know why. I don't know why I felt the need to tell you that as well. But that's what I've been doing. So you don't care. We just don't care. We're happy to keep going. We don't care. We enjoy your company. I like it. That's cool. Thanks, guys. But yeah, I will see those of you that I see tonight. Otherwise, I will see everybody else here back on Saturday. If you're in the northern half of the world, Friday evening. And just bring a project you just need to put some time into. Whether it's, you know, folding the washing or whatever it is, we're just going to have some chill tunes playing. So come in, come hang out, come say hi. You know, in between, if you've got errands and stuff that you're running, pop in, say hi, let us know how you're going with them. And I'll catch you all then. So have a great rest of your afternoon or evening. And I will catch you next time. Nitsbin Girl says I'd be happy for 3 or 4 hours. That's cool. Well, that is a perfect time for you to come and check out the productivity streams because they're usually 3 hours. All right. I'll catch you later. Bye now.